Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Ryan Morgan, dropping in with another episode of the Recovery Objects podcast. On this podcast, I like to discuss certain topics focused on recovery. Some language or content might be violent in nature. I might say some things that you might not agree with, and that's okay. I will always come forth with non-judgment and integrity. Whatever might be weighing on your heart is only temporary. I will always bring an authentic opinion. As a man in long-term recovery, I am dedicated to the process, and it's not my place to work anyone else's program than my own. I hope you understand this is not just a statewide issue. This is a worldwide issue. If we all can work together to fight these battles, we have enough energy to move mountains. I hope you enjoy the show as much as I did.
Yeah! Let's go, boy!
You are listening to the Recovery Objects podcast, hosted by Ryan Morgan.
Today on the show, I wanted to get into relationships. Relationships fresh out of rehab, relationships fresh into recovery. Relationships that begin in recovery are very difficult. Relationships that begin at the beginning of your recovery always tend to go very crazy. There's so many different things going on, so many different emotions that are coming up. And so it's hard to be able to express to the other partner what you're feeling. From personal experience, I was always told, get a plant, take care of that plant, get an animal, take care of that animal, then you can get yourself a girlfriend or boyfriend. To be honest with you, that seems to be the best message that I've ever heard dealing with relationships. I think I was just under the impression that I've always been in relationships for the wrong reasons. I've always been in relationships to be codependent, rely on other people too much. And I know that about myself. I do so many different things throughout my day to be able to combat those evils every day. Just come and hang out with me for one day. There's evil all around you, at every corner. Trying to stay sober in itself is a difficult task. Add on another partner, and you add on the emotions and energy of another partner, it makes things very difficult. I met my child's mom in rehab in a facility, both inmates at the time. I was granted the mentoring program there at the facility, was in charge of a couple of clients. One of those clients was my child's mom. Everything at the beginning was amazing and honeymoon stage. A couple years in, things took a different turn. Domestic violence, mental turmoil for both sides. When you're not honest with yourself, who you really are, it's hard to dictate what you really want in life and what you really need in life, especially when you're trying to find a partner. I think men look towards women to take care of us. We've always seen our fathers and the way that they handled our mothers. That's the cycle that we're trying to break. That's the cycle that we're trying to get rid of. You don't have to follow through with how you were raised. This is your life now. This is your relationship. You treat it with the respect that you expect to get back from it. We go into these things full head of steam, and then we get into them and we don't realize what really we're doing. A lot of times we self-sabotage, where you will start disliking yourself, telling yourself bad things, being very negative towards yourself. And in return, your partner's going to mirror that. Engaging in self-love, and you're engaging in different activities, involve quality time with your partner or the people that you love, your vibration is risen. And all the people around you will benefit off that vibration. Now, my grandmother, the most negative person I've ever met. Every time I'd go to her house, I knew that anything that I said or did would be caught with something off the wall. Super into politics, super into screaming and yelling at the TV, pretty consistent thing. She was a woman that knew her stuff, and so she was able to back it up. The only issue is, if you didn't see her side of the story, you weren't right. And it was always an issue if you didn't see her side of the story. I've long forgiven her, moved on, and now realize in my adult life, we're all just trying to do the same thing. We're all just trying to win the same battle. We're all going through the same suffering. If we follow exactly what our parents gave us, that's exactly what's going to happen to us. My grandmother's been getting old. My grandma from the other side, she's in her 90s now. A lot of my eating habits became more apparent of the reasoning why I was doing it. I got to be around her more often. The way that she is in her late age saddens me. It hurts me a lot. I try to block it out, ignore it like it's not even there, because I know that I can't put it on my plate. In reality, that's what I don't want in my life. And so being constantly consumed around it and being constantly surrounded by that energy will just continuously bring you down. I think it's super important to find somebody that's perfect for you. I think it's super important to find somebody that you love to be with and that supports you. That person isn't telling you yes, and that person is not going along with the way that you want your life to be, then that person's probably not the right person for you. And you can continue to tell yourself that they are, and you can continue to try to lie to yourself. The problem is that our brains are stupid. Our brains are very dumb. Although the brain is a very intricate part of our anatomy, the brain is very dumb. If you lead with what your heart tells you, you're going to have to try to convince your brain that it's right. I guarantee you it. I think that any avenue that you could take, get out and meet people and find that connection is super important. Whether or not it's over the internet, whether or not it's friend of a friend, meeting people in different social aspects, having these social connections, having these people close to you see a different perspective is very important. I love the people that I get to surround myself with, the relationships that I get to have. I am a very outgoing person. My ADHD loves to get the best of me. So when that ADHD brain kicks in, sometimes I can get a little crazy. My intensity just isn't matchable. Some people can either be deterred from wanting to interact with me, just not wanting to have anything to do with me. Body language is a big thing. When you're with somebody, you want to know that you're engaged. You want to show them that you're engaged. The best way to show them that you're engaged is with great posture, making sure your arms aren't crossed. Eye contact is huge. When I was stuck in the house for a couple years, 450 pounds, I never wanted to go out because eye contact was one of the hardest things for me. I couldn't face people. I couldn't even look them in the eye. I started realizing over time, why aren't these people looking at me in the eye? Why are these people not even paying attention to me? Until I looked within and realized it was me. It was me the entire time. It was my issue. If I wanted to progress and grow, I needed to figure out how to gain some confidence. Like I said in the last episode, confidence without clarity is dangerous. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Some people might think that you are a selfish person or a conceited person. Confidence without clarity is dangerous. If you're not confident in your relationship, you're not going to be confident in your normal day life. And you're not going to definitely be comfortable in your relationships with loved ones, friends, family. All of our relationships could mean different, and all of our relationships could culminate to different things. But in the end, we need these connections to be able to survive on this planet, to be able to survive as a human, period. Thank you so very much for your support, continued support. I hope to continue to bring you great content. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure to check out www.recoveryobjects.com for coaching today.
Let's go! Thanks so much for joining the show, guys. Please go to cleancause.com. Use promo code CC Ryan Morgan. Over 9 flavors of organic, sparkling yerba mate with low or zero calories, 160 milligrams of natural caffeine, and 50% of profits support individuals in recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. You are listening to the Recovery Objects Podcast, hosted by Ryan Morgan.